so many new town names, seeing so many people from inside the district, outside the district, all across New York. We got friends in Massachusetts are here because they plan on knocking on doors, coming to help us. So please say hello. I always love Indivisible Spaces. It feels like a family reunion. So I am super excited that you are here with us. We're going to give it a couple more minutes. More people are coming in from the waiting room. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And before we get started, just get yourself comfortable. I know it's a very, very, very cold night. It's been like a cold 5 weeks here in upstate New York. I hope everybody is doing okay with all of the snow that we've been having and ice and sleet. I hope that you and your family are very, very safe. I'm helping to let more people in from the waiting room. We had over 800 people register for this call. There's so many people who want to be with you and to meet Blake. So we are very, 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 very excited. All right, so just to let everybody know, we'll do some housekeeping in just a second, but we're not going to record this call. We really want to be able to hear from the candidate, really speak from his heart and not have to worry about everything. So we're not doing any recording. This is not open to the press. This is just a conversation for us to be able to hear directly from Blake, because we're going to be talking a lot about Blake over the next few months, for sure. Okay, all righty. Okay, excellent, excellent. Come on in if you're just getting in here. Thank you so much for being here. We're about to cross over 500 people. This is amazing. I hope you feel so excited. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. And thank you so much when you told a friend or you shared this with your Indivisible group, or if you're somebody who got a phone call over the last 2 weeks wanting to know if you'd like an invitation to this party with other people who are super excited that Elise Stefanik is not going to represent the North Country anymore. And you said, yes, please, like, I'm so excited that you're here. I helped set up those phone banks. We wanted to talk to you and meet you. So I'm so happy that you are here. Please go ahead, if you have not already, put your name and where you are in New York, your town or your county, however you like to identify, in the chat box. I do have everybody muted. We're super excited to get started here in just a hot minute. So very excited. I see so many wonderful names and so many brand new people. So I'm just going to double check that people that are supposed to be here are here. Wonderful. All right. So Julian, my coworker Julian, can you help make sure that everybody's getting in from the waiting room, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. All right, I'm going to do some spotlighting. Here we go. Okay, everybody. Hello, welcome to our virtual NY-21 meet and greet with Blake Gendebien. If anybody doesn't know me yet, my name is Sarah Reesky. I am the Indivisible Organizing Manager for New York. I'm a political organizer, but a lot of people don't know what that means. So I tell people I'm a coach for communities that save democracy, which are indivisible groups. So that is who I absolutely love. I have my favorite dream job ever. I get to help people make political activism bite-sized, local, and fun. I've been in this role for 6 years, so I'm really good at what I do. And I love to electrify a crowd. I love to help you move from pain point to healing. And I know a lot of us have a lot of pain points on so many different reasons. And we want to channel those big emotions into impactful energy or impactful actions. And one of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to go all out to outsmart, outwork, and outorganize our opposition in the NY-21 special election. This is something that isn't even like official yet, but we already have over 500 people on this call who are like gung-ho and ready to go. So I just want to give you so many snaps, so much applause, and so much love from my heart. Just thank you for being here. I have a very, very exciting night for you all. So this is how it's going to go. I think a lot of you got hopefully an email from me earlier today. There are some rules. Blake isn't going to ask you to donate. He isn't going to ask you to visit his website. He isn't going to ask you to volunteer with him. All of that information I'll be able to get from his staff and put in the follow-up email. All right. You guys submitted hundreds and hundreds of questions that were so good. And Julian, who is my co-partner on NY-21 stuff from our political team, Julian Senna, and I looked through all those questions. We found the themes and we really honed in and tried to blend as many as possible. So we have people who are going to ask those questions of Blake. I'm going to prompt them. they're going to come off mute, Blake ask their question, Blake is going to answer, and we're going to hopefully get to at least hopefully 10 questions. We're going to leave about 10 minutes at the end just for kind of wrap up. Any last words from Blake? He's going to tell us how awesome we are, wink, wink. And then we're going to talk about next steps because everybody has homework. Your homework is going to be have fun sharing your story about how you met Blake and how you connect with him. So in your follow-up email, you're going to get a doc with some fun ideas on how to do that. So I'm so glad that you are here, and let's go ahead and get started. I want to see, Blake, do you have any staff here that you would want to introduce? Let me just see here. I'm going to help. I don't know if Madison or Emily, do you know?
Yes, Madison should be in the Zoom, and Emily is here with me.
Okay, Emily, do you want to come in and wave?
Hello.
There you go. Emily, tell us a little bit about you. Why are you hanging out with this guy? What's your role?
I'm Emily. I'm the campaign manager here. Thanks so much for everyone for hopping on, and will not take up too much of your time because I know you're here to hear from Blake. So I will pass it over to him.
Okay, wonderful.
She's being very modest. She worked for Josh Riley, and she worked for the D-Trip on campaigns on the West Coast. She has a great experience.
Awesome. Okay, Blake, this is where we are going to turn it over to you. This is a great time to practice your stump speech and give us a great intro to you. We want to hear your story.
Terrific. Before I get started, I would like to give Madison Lewis a chance to say hi. Madison, are you out in the crowd somewhere? Okay. Okay, maybe she is. Maybe.
Yeah, I was able to find her and ask her to unmute. She should be able to do that now.
Oh, there we go. Awesome. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, and now we can see
There
you
we
too.
go. Hi all, I'm Deputy Campaign Manager and I'm overseeing our organizing operation. So very, very excited to see so many folks excited about the ground game. Our grassroots energy is really gonna be what pulls us over the finish line here. So can't wait to get started with you all soon. Blake, all you.
All right. Nice to see you, Madison. Thank you very much for this awesome opportunity. You guys are great. I see the numbers just keep ticking up. This is such fabulous participation, and we're going to need a lot of it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, my name is Blake Gendebien. I'm the Democratic candidate running to replace Elise Stefanik in the upcoming special election in New York's 21st district. So let's do this, guys. Thank you. I am a family man. I've been married to Carmen for 22 years. We have 3 awesome boys, Miles, Truman, and Noah. Miles is a junior at Tufts University. Truman is a freshman at Pitt, and Noah is a senior in high school. And like so many of you, my wife and have done in the past and are going to do in the future, my wife and I have a road trip tomorrow with Noah to go take a look at a university. So that's going to be a lot of fun to spend a little bit of time with him and Carmen. So I am born and raised in Lisbon, New York, and you can kind of see right behind me, this is the St. Lawrence River. We're pretty close to Canada. I grew up on a 50-cow dairy farm. Interestingly, my mother is a Berkeley grad. She loved JFK. And my father is a Penn State grad. And they both joined the Peace Corps, and I think it was 1966. And they met in South America. They were kicked out of Bolivia when it turned communist. My sisters were born in South America, and they decided to buy a farm in the middle of nowhere. And that's Lisbon, New York. And I absolutely love it here. I graduated from Lisbon Central School. I participated in all of the things that you guys know so well in our small public schools that are so valuable for education and community centers. And so I participated in band and chorus and all the sports and worked very hard on the farm. I went to Penn State University to study agriculture and minored in business. And shortly after, I found myself in Atlanta, which is where I met Carmen. And when we were dating, Dad said, "Would you like to come back to the farm? The farm next door is for sale." I asked Carmen, "Would you like to buy that farm next door?" And she said, "Absolutely." And she deserves all the credit. She is a Cuban immigrant from New York City. Her dad left Cuba in 1972. And so the value of American immigrants is very, very important to me. And she started a small business on her own, and at one point in time employed as many as 11 people in Canton, New York. She now has a private label skincare business that she operates out of the farm, which is growing every single day. So not only do we have a 500 cow dairy farm with 1,200 acres and 13 employees on the farm, we also have a small business where we, like I mentioned before, we make private label skincare products. Carmen and I also started the Jewels of Life Foundation, which is the premier resource for families that found out the terrible news that their child has pediatric cancer. And I know in the North Country, Mohawk Valley, Hudson Valley, in the Adirondacks, when you find out news like that, your mind goes blank. You don't know where to turn. And we offer modest financial resources, but we are more of the information resource where we can take you through our contacts. We can head you in the right direction and make the experience as easy as possible, even though it's an impossible experience to face. So we help a lot of families navigate their way through that time in their lives. I have also been on the school board at Lisbon Central School. I have coached JV basketball and been the varsity basketball assistant coach. I really enjoy making the lives better for that age group, 15 to 18 years old. Nothing makes me happier than seeing a young man smile after making a bucket or doing something successful. And then very important, near and dear to me, I served as the vice chairman of the board of Agrimark, which is $1 billion dairy cooperative that manufactures Cabot cheese. Cabot cheese is our flagship brand. We also have the full dairy complex of yogurts, and that's an elected position. I needed the support of 450 dairy farmers from New York, Pennsylvania, New York, New England, and Maine in order to earn that privilege to represent them. And it is through these experiences that taught me about how incredible the North Country is. From the St. Lawrence River to Lake Champlain, down to the Hudson Valley, over to the Mohawk Valley, back up through Drum Country, and through the Adirondacks. This district is a national treasure. It is so special, and it is my backyard. Born and raised here, I care about everyone. I care about everyone's kids. I care about the success of families, and I care about all of our parents and their health. It is very important to me, and that needs to shine through. But I also know about the struggles. As a private business person, I know what it's like to try to make payroll in an environment where there's rising costs. As a son and a nephew, I know what it's like to have aging parents that require a 2.5 hour drive to Syracuse to the nearest specialist. That's unacceptable. As a farmer, I know what it's like to plant crops in changing climate conditions. There is not a farmer in the US that doesn't know the climate is changing. It is so important that in this district that we focus on affordability, because nearly half of the voters in this district are over 65. They're veterans, they're retired public school teachers, they're retired federal workers, they're retired state workers. On fixed incomes, we have to make sure that they can live happily and comfortably along with young families. We have to control inflation and make sure that we can afford to put food on our tables. It is very important as well that we have a secure border and that we update immigration reform and make sure that our farmers have a legal, secure workforce. There are 35,000 different farms of many varieties in this district. That is a lot of people. These farmers employ many people and do business locally. One thing about farmers, they do business locally. That is so important to the North Country. We also rely so heavily on our small business people through the Adirondacks, maple sugar, sugaring manufacturers, small artisans. There are small businesses all the way through this district, and they are hamstrung by some senseless regulations that make doing business harder. For example, I am regulated by 13 different agencies. These regulations do not necessarily make the dairy products I make safer for you, but they make them unnecessarily overly expensive for you. We can do better. And of course, we need to focus on healthcare. Carmen and I found a need for people that are experiencing the tragedy of pediatric cancer in their family. My uncle Rodney had a stroke in June. We discovered how little care there is. His 82-year-old spouse had to drive him 2.5 hours to Syracuse for appointments. It's unacceptable. We can do better. And so, how are we going to do this? We are going to march to the same drum and we are going to work very hard. We are going to take manageable bites, which I heard earlier. It can seem overwhelming what's happening to us, but I like to break things down into workhorses and show horses. I grew up as a kid with 2 draft horses, Harry and Jane, and they had a big impact on me. And show horses, when it gets rainy and muddy and windy and snowy, they go back in the barn. But workhorses, what they do, regardless of the weather, regardless of the distractions, they plow the field one pass at a time, manageable bites, manageable bites, manageable bites. And when the job gets harder, they hitch up to a partner and they take a 2-bottom plow and they do the job together with a partner. And that's what we need to do. We need to remain unprovoked, totally laser focused on our job, and we do it together with a smile on our face because we have each other's support. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity to talk to all of you tonight. And I can't wait to hear your feedback and answer some questions.
I love that. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and jump to those questions. So, David, can you come off mute and ask your question?
Sure. Hi, Blake. I'm
Hi,
David.
David.
Hi. I'm from Hillsdale. I'm here with my wife, Joan. We're in Columbia County, and we're with Third Act. And so here's my question. How are you going to rally Democrats, get them out, and even more important, win over the non-Democrats? You're in a red district. So how do you plan to appeal to all types of constituents?
Great question. So we are going to, it's a short race, right? It's 90 days. I'm a workhorse. You'll hear that a lot. I'm going to go out. I'm going to see our Democratic base. You are going to see me. If you're in the district, you're hopefully going to see me more than once. And we are going to have myself out there. We're going to have a strong field organization out there that is rallying support. And we will have support from other congresspeople in New York State to help keep us going while I am visiting with Republican voters. it's very important that with a little help from Donald Trump, with some legislation like tariffs that will really hurt us, threats to our social programs that will really hurt us, they will listen to me, and I will have the opportunity to show them that they can be comfortable voting for me. And the model has already proven out locally here in my backyard in St. Lawrence County. We have a lot of support from moderate Republicans. But when I say a little help from Donald Trump, I mean, if he imposes those tariffs from Canada, beyond Canada, a 25% tariff is a problem for us. We get our diesel fuel from Canada. We get our natural gas from Canada. We get a lot of our gasoline from Canada. We get our electricity from Canada. We get our fertilizer from Canada. We get our grain to feed our cattle from Canada. Those things are going to increase costs here. And I can talk about that, and I can assure people that I'm going to fight for the programs that will help reduce costs at the dinner table. And so my job really is to go into the red towns, the areas where the Republicans are heavily populated, and talk to them unapologetically and lay myself out there, lay it on the line. And we are going to show them that they have permission to vote for us. And it's going to be very exciting. What we expect in a special election setting, that the turnout will be a little bit less. So if we can organize all the Democrats to come out like it's a general election, and I do my job of showing moderate Republicans that we are a safe space, that we care about their parents, we care about their kids, we care about the food on their table, and that it's time to send a farmer to Congress that can actually be compassionate and understand what people are going through, we're going to win this by not just a small margin, and it will be a sustainable campaign.
Thank you, Blake. Go get them. Third Act endorses you.
Great. Thank you, David. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go to Peggy. Let me find Peg. Add spotlight. You should be able to unmute. Here you go.
Hi, Peg.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. My name is Peg Tucker, and I am from Plattsburgh, New York, also up near the border. And I want to thank Sarah for putting this together. This is like, there's so many people showing up here. This is like, this energy of hope is just what we need. So, and Blake, it is an honor to meet you. I'm so excited. I love the workhorse analogy, and keep that in mind. So this question really means a lot to me. Under this current administration, there are so many people that are being targeted and attacked and living in fear. The LGBTQ community, the minorities, and so many other communities. How do you plan to be able to speak up and be a champion for people against this Project 2025 agenda?
Yeah. So one of the reasons I am running is I have an aversion to bullies. I don't tolerate it. As a coach, I didn't tolerate it. As a dad, I don't tolerate it. As a husband, I don't tolerate it. And a little background, my kids are half Cuban. And so Spanish is important in their household. Pre-Trump in 2016, everything was fine. Suddenly, other kids somehow got the permission to use racial slurs against my children, and it was a clear turning point. It was a clear tear in the social fabric in our community, and I know that didn't just happen with my family. It happened with family after family after family. And so what I can promise is that no matter if you're hated on, marginalized, or victimized, I am going to be there for you. You will have no greater champion than myself. I am all in that discussion, and I will support any legislation that protects marginalized people, victimized people, with every bit of my heart.
Great. Thank you so much. Let me help bring up Regina and then ask Regina to unmute. Regina, let's ask your question.
Here. Hi,
Hi,
Blake.
Regina. Hi,
I'm,
Regina.
I'm Regina Kikas, and I'm from the newest part of New York 21, Rome, New York. Lived
Yes.
here all my life. My family's been here since the late 1800s. So Rome is my territory. I know it well.
Great.
I'm with IMV, Indivisible Mohawk Valley, and I'm also a member of the Rome Democratic Party, small but mighty.
Thank you for your hard work. We are going to be going to Rome because I think it is our largest city in the district.
It is.
Very important to me that we
Yes.
get down there. And
Okay.
you and I get to high five when I'm there.
You'll meet me and we'll have a couple of chats and I'll probably write some letters for you for the
Thank you.
paper. So here's my question.
Mhm.
How will you get to know the parts of New York 21 that are new to you and where you are not known in a very short amount of time?
Well, first of all, I'm going to hustle and I'm going to get there and meet people in person. Very important with our field organizer and with help from our county chairs and with help from everyone in the district. We are going to meet people on both sides of the aisle. It's very, very important. Something unique to myself compared to others, I think, is I actually like people. I care about people. I want to meet them. It's very, very important to me. Next, we are going to have significant resources and we're going to be very successful on television. We have 5 media markets: Syracuse, Utica, Albany, Burlington, which is Plattsburgh, and Watertown. You are going to see us. We've already shot 4 30-second ads. And when we pull the trigger, we're going to pull the trigger. And we are going to work very hard to flood the zone and tell people my story before my story can be told by somebody else.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward to meeting you here, and we got your back.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to meet you.
You too.
Okay, next up, we're going to ask Patricia to ask a question. Here she is.
Hi,
Hi,
Patricia.
Blake. Hi, I have a little bit of a cold, so excuse my voice. Both sets of my grandparents were dairy farmers, so I appreciate the struggles and the work ethic that you bring to this campaign. Um, I'm a native of Clayton County, taught in Hamilton County for 29 years, and now live in Potsdam in St. Lawrence County.
What did you
So
do for 29 years?
I was a teacher in Hamilton County,
What did you teach?
health and phys ed.
Thank you very much.
So I appreciate the work ethic of a coach too in these
Mhm.
small rural counties where you're on the bus a long time.
Yep. And yes, that's right. And you're in Potsdam, you said?
Correct.
Terrific. We're neighbors then, practically.
Yes. My question is, it's 2 questions actually, and I was told to read them in succession. Are you prepared to fight and block Trump and Republicans on everything until Trump agrees to abide by federal court orders? And what are you ready to do in Congress as we are in a constitutional crisis and need Democrats to hold the line?
Yes. So I am here to tell you that I agree. We are in a constitutional crisis. It is overwhelming. And it's really important that we do hold the line. I am going to be an independent voice that represents the North Country and wins this race. And I will go to Washington and I will protect our constitutional rights with all of my heart. Like I said before about people being victimized, I have very strong feelings about both, and I will work on legislation that protects our programs, protects the people of the North Country, protects our Constitution, and you can count on that. So I appreciate the question. I understand how concerned and frightened we all are. I'm right with you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get Tina up here. Let's see if I
Hi,
can.
Blake.
Yeah, Tina, let me find you. Let me get you add spotlight. Hang on, I'm trying to find you here. Okay, hang on. Trying to make sure all the text stuff is going in. It's not letting me add you to spotlight. So just go ahead and ask Tina, and then I'll continue to find you.
It's okay. I'm the two bear butts because my camera isn't working properly for some reason today.
Hi, Tina.
Hi.
How
Hi.
you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I am from Schoharie County and super excited you're going to be here in a week and a half or so on the 2nd of March.
Me too. I can't wait.
Yes, everyone is very excited. So you mentioned earlier about your the recent stroke that your uncle had and the burden it placed on your aunt to have to drive to Syracuse for treatments and appointments. So how would you address issues in our healthcare system, especially addressing the rural healthcare access in what is a very rural district?
Yeah, so great point. I want to add that we very fortunately had a lot of family around, and we were able to buy a used handicap van between 4 families. And I am well aware that not everyone in the North Country has multiple families around that can do that. I feel so fortunate that we were able to pull that off. We need to make sure that there's transportation service for the less fortunate. We need to make sure that there is more access for people. And yes, it was it was so sad that an 81-year-old woman had to drive a hurting 81-year-old husband by herself to Syracuse. We have to do better. We have to make sure that we have federal and state programs that allow for access to care that's more local and access that we can actually afford that's more local. And I want to tell you a quick story. So I was a private business person and Carmen was a private business person. And here we were making food for people. We're providing milk that made cheese, made yogurt, made sour cream, made fluid milk for people to buy at the store. And Carmen and I could not afford health insurance for our kids. The health insurance premium was more expensive than the mortgage on our farm. The Affordable Care Act came along and that changed everything. So I know inside that we can do better because the Affordable Care Act did better. Once we were able to participate in that program, we could afford better food for our kids. We were struggling to afford diapers. We could afford better and more diapers, and we could get better clothes for our kids. So with that experience, I know that government can do good things for healthcare, and I am willing to fight for any expansion on the Affordable Care Act that will help our rural communities because, like I mentioned before, nearly 50%. It's not just young families. It is also our aging parents, our aging aunts and uncles. They need support and they need help because nearly 50% of this district is retired and over 65. We need to take care of each other. And I will support any legislation and push for any legislation that expands on that support.
Thank you. That access to affordable healthcare is really important. I was able to access healthcare myself using the open enrollment this year for the first time, and I'm very grateful. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's an experience I share with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tina. Let's go ahead and have Chris ask her question.
Hi, Blake. I'm Chris Newcomb from Lake Placid in Essex
Hey,
County.
Chris.
Hi, I hear you're going to be here. I think it's this coming weekend in Saranac Lake. So I'm going to try to get over there and meet you in person. So the question I have for you is, our district shares a long border with Canada, and there's lots of cross-border economic activity. How do you see potential tariffs and trade wars with our Canadian neighbors playing out in the North Country, among farmers and among other parts of the economy?
So, of course, you remember during COVID when the border was closed, it was an economic disaster in so many ways for our local businesses. The Walmart in Ogdensburg lost money. The Lowe's in Ogdensburg lost money. The businesses through the Adirondacks lost tourism, and the businesses across the whole northern border suffered. It's really the relationship between the US and Canada in this district is extremely intimate economically, and also we need to talk about just the lifestyle. We have a great relationship between the US and Canada, and we do not want to damage that. As I mentioned a little earlier with the first question, I believe from David, if there are tariffs, it will have a huge negative impact on us. It will increase the cost of everything in the North Country. We also need to think about retaliatory tariffs on the things that we produce. And I can talk specifically on dairy products. When there are retaliatory tariffs on dairy products or anything else, the person that manufactures or the business that manufactures that good, they take part of the deduction. So we take a hit in our milk check when we can't sell that product on the other side of the border. So not only does our input go up, our fertilizer, our fuel, our energy, our grain costs all go up, we then have to take a deduction or a discount on the product that we sell back into that country because of the retaliatory tariffs. So it is a double whammy. And I don't know if you remember, we had mental health issues all the way across the ag sphere in 2016 to 2020. We had suicides on farms, not just dairy farms, on all farms, because people couldn't handle the stress. And we need to avoid that. It was a humanitarian crisis right here in our backyard. It's so much more complex and nuanced than just a 25% tariff. It is a big, big issue.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. See you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
All right, next up we have Lisa.
Yeah, hi Blake. I'm Lisa Adamson from the Lake George, Queensbury, Greater Glens Falls area in Warren County, and I'm with Indivisible ADK Saratoga. I was actually a dairy farmer myself back in the 90s, late 80s, early 2000s in the Northeast Kingdom in Vermont, and we sold to Cabot. And here locally, I'm involved in climate action and the North Country Light Brigade. My question is, are you a gun owner? And what are your views on gun violence and prevention in our schools and communities?
Yes, gun violence is a tragedy, and as a country, we need to do better. As a farmer, I am a gun owner. I am a proud, common sense, responsible gun owner. Universal background checks has 90% approval in the United States. We need to get that done. There are safe storage laws that we need to take seriously, which I do, and many people in New York 21 take very, very seriously. I do support the Second Amendment, and as a congressperson in New York 21, that is very important to the district. And so I support common sense gun legislation. I am a huge supporter of mental health legislation, universal background checks, and safe storage laws.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I just want to pop in to just help ground everybody on how great Blake answered that. Okay, the reason why like this came up with a couple people, but no matter what your opinion is on guns, the North Country overall might have a different vibe. And even though Blake may not have the same experience as you, like he is a gun owner, responsible gun owner, maybe you would choose to not be a gun owner. Like it still is not going to stop us from still working and helping Blake get over the finish line. Okay, we need members of Congress who are really good at representing and being able to talk about the issues. And we know in upstate New York, I want to see a lot of heads that like people feel very particular, a lot of voters about guns and stuff. And so we need to be able to say, hey, I choose something different, but you know what? I'm still going to vote for him, you know, and we're both Democrats and stuff. So you can still like respect all of that. So I just want to say, like, I hope you really heard his answer, because this is something that, you know, you could talk about in a letter to the editor. You can talk about at the doors or on the phones to talk to those kind of persuadable voters and stuff like that. So very, very important. Okay, let's go ahead and get the next person up here, which is Lori. So let me help her get up here. Okay, Lori, you're up. You should be able to unmute.
There we go. Oh, unmute.
Hi, Lori.
Oh, Lori, can you try to unmute now? You should be able to.
Yeah, because okay, is that okay?
Good.
Can you hear
Yep,
me?
you're good.
Okay, so my name's Lori Davis. I live in Canton, New York.
Oh, hey, Lori.
Hi. No, I really appreciate, you know, what you're doing. And I'm new to this. I mean, I've been concerned for a long time. You know, what's happening, and it's just it's an onslaught that isn't make me very happy. So I've lived here a long time. I'm originally from Ohio, but I've been here for years and years, like, I don't know, 40, 50, 45, I don't know.
Work at St. Lawrence University?
I worked at St. Lawrence University. No, I was worked in the library, and I retired a few years back. And
Special place.
yeah, it was a good job for me. I worked in the library. But anyway, so I just background, I have I'm kind of involved in disabilities because my daughter has a disability. So I'm very concerned about her services and how they're going to be affected by what's happening. That's what I'm passionate about. And but my question's different than that, but I just wanted, you know, that it's something that I fight for all the time on a daily basis.
Before you ask your question, I want to tell you that our middle son, Truman, has Asperger's. And received the best treatment and support programs for him in the Lisbon public school and the BOCES, all the services that BOCES has. And he not only got through it, which was very tough. He's been in college now on his own, which we really worried for a little while that would never happen. It is because of the amazing services from our public school and BOCES that got him to that point. Of course, Carmen, my wife, is amazing as well and advocated, but he had a lot of help. And so I am with you on that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you never know who's affected by that. Excuse me, I have a persistent cough. Anyway, so my daughter has Down syndrome and she's in a group home right now. So I'm there for her. Excuse me, I don't know why suddenly. Anyway, my question, excuse me. Always at the wrong time. My question. How will you effectively link the harms that Trump's executive orders and the Project 2025 agenda to the daily lives of New York 21 voters? Did you hear me? Excuse me.
I got it. Yep.
So
So
it affects all of us.
it affects all of us. Yes. I think I can link that to the issues that we have. We have so many and people that rely so heavily on government in New York District 21. We have veterans, we have school teachers. I want to just bring this right back to our public schools. Our public school education is so important in this district. There is nothing that matters to me more. There might be some ties out there, but the public school education that we provide our kids is so critical, and the federal support that we need to have is so critical. There are no private schools. Charter programs don't work in the North Country and in this district. And not only do we provide an amazing education, we provide an amazing vocational program in BOCES. BOCES is, I think it's a model for the country. And our small schools are not only places of education, we get to go to drama club plays as our communities. We get to go to basketball games, soccer games, volleyball games, softball games, baseball games. We get to go to the best Christmas concerts and watch our kids that anybody gets to go to. I feel so strongly that we need to protect things like our public school education that is under attack under Project 2025. And that is just one example. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that we do not lose the programs that are so important to us in New York 21. You can count on that.
Thank you, Blake. Okay, let's get our next person up here, which is Kelly. Let me get you unmuted, Kelly. You should be able to now.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Hi, Kelly. How you doing?
Hello, Blake. My name is Kelly Nessel. I live in the town of Johnsburg, which shares a border with Hamilton County. We actually are in Warren County. And if you don't know where Johnsburg is, you might know where North Creek is, because North Creek is our little tiny commercial center and everybody else is all around outside of it in about 104 square miles. We're a very large township.
I'm looking at the map.
Yes. Well, if you can zero in on Gore Mountain, then you're about 6 miles away from my house. We are a community of skiers, raft guides, rafters, a few teachers, highwaymen, that kind of thing. My question is, how would you use the tax system to help regular people and small businesses instead of tax giveaways to large corporations and billionaires?
Yeah, obviously, it does appear to me like DOGE is taking from people who need and making it easier for large companies to make money. I would reject that concept. I do believe that there's always, as a private business person, I do believe that there's always space to look for ways to save money, and that's a prudent thing. But to have an unelected bureaucrat come in, billionaire bureaucrat come in, it does not seem like we're on the right track. So I would work very hard to preserve money for the North Country that goes right to what you're talking about, Kelly. It goes right to affordable housing for the tourism industry. If you're a raft guide, you need a place that you can live.
You're darn right.
Yeah. So we've got to work on these programs. We have to use our tax dollars to support our small businesses in the Adirondacks. We have to build our infrastructure, our municipal infrastructure in the Adirondacks, so that we can make sure that our small businesses and our communities have ways to build up and support the activities that go on in our small communities that bring money in: skiing, rafting, and other activities that bring in tourism dollars, because that's what we do well. Let's take advantage of this beautiful national treasure that we have in the Adirondack Park and Lake George and Lake Champlain and the St. Lawrence River and our incredible Mohawk Valley and Hudson Valley. We have so many things that we can do. So let's support our local economy, and let's use our tax dollars to support affordable housing and municipal investments that we can build on to bring in more tourism investment. I think that's a wonderful thing to focus on.
Hey, great. Sounds good. We need all of those things.
We do.
All right. Thank you, Kelly. Now let's go ahead and have Teresa come on up.
Am I unmuted?
Yep. Hi, Teresa.
Okay. Hi. I'm calling in from the town of Keene.
Great.
And I have been a member of an indivisible group for a long time. I'm also on the Essex County Democratic Committee, and I'm also an elected member of our town board.
Thank you for your work.
And the question that I'm concerned about is, you know, people are always concerned about the high cost of living, and especially the increased cost for housing. That's become a critical issue in our community and I think across the state, but certainly across the region. So how will you address, you know, the voters' concerns about that, and how, you know, making life a little more affordable?
Yeah. So we do need to make investments in affordable housing. There is no doubt about that. We have some issues where some homes are being purchased and turned into Airbnbs, which are wonderful. That's part of the tourism industry. But every time that happens, that takes away an affordable home for a waiter or a waitress or somebody that works at the ski slopes or works in the tourism industry in the Adirondacks or is a hard worker at the Chateaugay cheese plant and is looking for an affordable home. We need to use our tax dollars to support investments into affordable housing. We also need to make common sense programs for food production. We can do better. And one of the things that we can do is we can make sure that our farmers have a legal, reliable workforce. If you want food to get really expensive, let's not fix immigration. Let's instead import all of our food because we can't find people to do the work. Then food's going to get real expensive. So there are things, if you want to bring costs down in the North Country, costs down in the United States at the dinner table, you have to have a farmer in the room supporting the legislation. There are so many common sense things. If you are on the ground, working every day, and have experience working in agriculture, working in tourism, working in construction, working in plumbing, working in forestry, there are common sense bits of legislation that you can provide in DC that will bring costs down. Those voices just aren't heard. That's why I feel it's so important to send a farmer to Congress to represent our district and bring good, solid, common sense legislation back that's good for everyone on both sides of the aisle. It is critical that we do this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Blake, we are coming up on 7:30. Do you have time to answer one more question?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
This is
Great.
my
All right.
favorite thing to do is to see you guys.
Oh, that's a great answer.
know.
I love that. Tracy, can you come off mute? I'm having a hard time being able to spotlight you, but you should be able to come off mute, Tracy.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Tracy.
Hey, Blake, how are you?
Great.
Working late, huh?
Oh,
I'm in Casiano, New York. It's Washington County, and I am a member of the Washington County Dem Committee.
okay. Mhm.
Well, before I ask my question, just really fast, I just want to throw this in there because I know you're going to get elected. When something comes across your desk, it has to do with domestic animal welfare laws. This never gets brought up. Never. Please pay attention. Please, let's improve our laws here. We've got a huge problem. I spend all my time handling these abused cases. Okay, so just put that in the back of your head. My question is, when you're elected, will you commit to holding regular open town hall meetings, both virtual like now and in person, to listen to what your constituents need and
Yes.
want?
Yes, absolutely. And I mentioned it earlier. Unlike some previous politicians that we know, I like people. And this is not a vanity project. There is no deep, dark hole in my soul that I'm trying to fill. I have a great relationship with my mother and father and my sisters and my children and my wife. And I want to do the best thing possible for you and for everyone else in this district. And the best way to do that is to listen to our concerns, meet people, say hello, rub elbows, share a meal, and again listen and bring that feedback back to DC. That should be the best time for any representative. That's what it's all about. So thank you for the question. I'm glad I got a chance to double down on that.
Yeah, I have no doubt you're going to do that. I don't even know why I asked.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We are going just a couple minutes over. I want you guys to put a ton of love for Blake and a big thank you to his staff who were fantastic in helping to support me, to support Blake with all of this. So lots of emojis, lots of amazing thank yous I'm seeing. Blake, I hope this is all making you feel really, really good. Indivisibles, we love to build relationships with our member of Congress and our candidates. We want to help make political activism bite-sized, local, and fun. And that's it. The campaigning, we know we are pros at this, takes a lot out of us, but it is all about like the friendships and the fun experiences that we make out of it. So you can guarantee we're going to help have fun while you are campaigning and help you get there. So I want to just give an extra thank you to you. And I want to just remind people that everybody has homework. You are going to get a follow-up email from me. It will contain some things from Blake's campaign that we'll be able to share with you. Okay. But everybody has homework. All right. Your homework is that you have to have fun getting your story out about Blake. You can tell him, I met Blake and I heard him just answer questions so happily with a smile on his face, right? You can say, you can talk about his work ethic, however you connected with him. I want you to share that story. And I'm going to have a little guide in that email of different ways you can do that. You can make a little video, a selfie video like this, and put it out on social media. You can take a picture of him and then just have a little message out there, right? You want to be the beacon so that all your other friends can be like, well, my political activism friend really likes this Blake guy, so I'm going to do what they say. You would not believe how far that goes, right? The text message that you can send a friend that opens the door to have a conversation where you can talk very highly of Blake and share your authentic story about him, or a letter to the editor. So I want you, and I've got some templates for you, some ideas. I want to help you with all of this, but no matter if you are here from Long Island, you are here from New York City, if you are here from NY-19, from Buffalo, folks are here. If you are in the district, you can do these things. There's a way for you to share your story. Everybody knows somebody with a camp in the North Country. Everybody knows somebody who lives up there. We're going to get a little bit out of our comfort zone. We're going to try something new. Yes, it is winter. It is an awkward time to have an election, but we are going to outwork, out-organize, and outsmart the opposition, and we're going to give them the fight of their lives. We're going to give them hell, and we're going to have fun doing it. And so I am so glad that you are here. I'm so grateful for Blake and his team. I'm so grateful for the Indivisibles who I get to work with every single day. I'm so grateful for everybody who is here for the very first time saying, I'm here, I've never done this before, but I'm here, count me in. I see you, I love you too. And let's go ahead and have a great rest of your night. I really, really appreciate you all going a little bit over and spending time here, and just be on the lookout for your follow-up email. Sound good? All right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. We'll see you later, everybody. Appreciate you. Good night.